been going through the book for the last couple of days. We've done chapter 1 through to chapter 4, and we're going to be looking at chapter 5. Chapter 5 says the last mover advantage. Escaping competition will give you a monopoly. To walk us through this particular chapter is no other person than our lady, the Harvard alumni. Yes, I always love to. Come on, it's not joke, right? It's not joke, my darling. Receive your flowers. Ummi, who is in Boston at the moment and will be leaving all the way to the UK, is going to walk us through chapter 5. Unfortunately, we don't have Bolu with us, who is supposed to be presenting chapter 6. As we know, she's still in mourning. So please, after the call, if you can, just pick up the phone and call her to see how she is faring at this moment of grief. Ummi, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us all the way. I want to open the floor and welcome you all for Ummi's presentation, chapter 5 of 0 to 1. Ummi, over to you.
Okay, thank you very much for this beautiful introduction. Oh God. Okay, good evening, everyone. I'm so honored and glad to be among you this evening. It's a pleasure to come here and talk whatever I talk, whether it makes sense or not. I appreciate your time always to listen to me and always for your feedback and contributions. I'm always looking forward to my opportunity to present. Okay, so I'm here to present the chapter 5, but before chapter 5 of 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, or is it Thiel? I don't know. And I want to say I've gone through the book, and the key learnings or what the book is teaching us is telling us that you have to go from 0 to 1, which means that we must create, not copy, we must innovate. Initially, in other rates, we had that, yes, we should innovate, but also sometimes we don't have to start from we don't have to reinvent the wheel. But this book is telling us that we have to create, we should not copy. And another thing that stood out, they said, you should build your monopoly. Don't go and compete. Or else you will lose focus and go to things that are not your business. So build monopoly, build your own, and become an expert on it. Also, it's teaching us that we have to start small and scale strategically. This is in line with our last read, which means you can't just start innovating at large scale. Start small. From there, when you master that place, then you start strategically expanding and all that. And also, they said the use of technology and innovation is what's really help your business to really grow. So you have to imbibe you have to innovate and imbibe technology. Also, strong foundation matters. You can't just do anything from the surface. You really have to have a strong foundation. And there will always be opportunities. So don't say that, no, this person have done this. And no, keep searching, keep trying. You will see way to innovate and cash on it, on the value. And then the last mover advantage. And this is my chapter. Last mover advantage. All we are hearing is that it's a power in the first mention. There is power in being the first mover because you'll be there comfortable before other people come. But this one now is saying that there is a advantage in being the last mover. So let's go into the chapter and see what it's trying to tell us. Last mover advantage. So it is saying that we have said, the book said that, or the author said that we should not go and compete, but rather we should create monopoly. We should stay in monopoly. And remember, monopoly is like you are the one that have advantage in that place. You have the customers and your product is valuable. That is it. So for you to last in that situation, obviously, for your business to endure into the future, you must have to be given value. You have to be relevant. They gave an example of New York Times and Twitter. At that time, when Twitter went into the market for capitalization, it raised so much money. It was valued at $24 billion. Meanwhile, New York Times was making so much money, more than 12 times that. But Twitter was making loss, but the investors' value is very high because what they are looking at the future. Not now. So a business is really defined, the value of business is defined by your ability to generate the cash flow into the future, not just now. You remember, New York Times were making money, but the future was not showing that it will continue to make that same money. So ability to generate cash flow into the future is really valuable for any company. So investors expect Twitter that they will be able to capture their monopoly profit in the future, maybe in another 5, 6, 10 years. And that is exactly what happens. See Twitter now. And also, for us to properly value our business, remember, we must be able to discount the future cash flow to today. That is the future cash flow. I know as a finance, we do net present value and we discount it today so that we know how the future looks like for our business. So the chapter went to it went to also they made an example with Silicon Valley. They say for a company to grow valuably and endure, for us to stay in that monopoly, that we entrepreneurs should not just focus on today. We have to focus on to the future, and we have to be able to at least have clarity to measure the growth so that it will be durable. So if you focus in the near term, so you really the most important question that you be asking your business, because it's by asking some key questions, that's how you know how valuable your business will be. So since the chapter said that we should not stay in monopoly, we should not stay in competition, we have to create monopoly. How do we now check our business, check business in regards to monopoly? How? So let us see. So normally, for us to analyze our business we have to analyze according to some characteristics of monopoly. First of all, let's say it will use what is the proprietary technology. Proprietary technology, this is the technology that you own it, you have advantage. Probably you are the first person to do it, or you are the one that is able to do it and give value to people. Or it will be difficult for somebody to replicate it. For example, Google search, we've had a lot of it. People have tried everything I have tried, but this Google is really stand out. The way it gives you answers correctly, you know, your search, the way and the advertisement that comes, really they have become really unbeatable. Also, proprietary technology, you have to also check how is it 10 times better than the closest substitute, or nobody even is near you. You have to be sure it's really giving 10 times value at least. So which means for you to achieve this, you have to invest something completely new. So which means you have to create, you have to innovate. So if you build something very valuable, you understand, then obviously people will be, maybe few people will be using it. Gradually, word of mouth will make other people to use it. It will become like a trusted brand or a trusted product. So this will now help in making your business to grow. There was also an example of PayPal, for instance. You understand, PayPal you made buying and selling on eBay 10 times better than how it was before. You understand? So before, PayPal would let buyers to like also for people that auction business. Initially, it would take many days before you get your money when you auction. But PayPal made it possible that as you did it within hours, you get your money. Obviously, that is something that others are not providing, and definitely customers will keep using PayPal. So we also have network effects. What is network? Network means that how many people are using it, how many markets it is serving. For example, Facebook. Facebook was meant to serve his fellow students at Harvard. But where it's, because it was very valuable and useful. See where Facebook is. You understand? They never thought the business was that valuable. That is the problem with innovative things. Sometimes you not even know it is going to be successful, but you keep pushing till you achieve it. So that is the impact of network effect. We have to really be able to catch this one on. And how do you innovate a very valuable product and make sure you market it well and make it durable, make it really valuable? Because if it is useless, once people use it, when they're not comfortable, then obviously they will not use it again. So the next feature to ask your business is the economies of scale. Remember, economies of scale is the more you produce, the less your cost. So a monopoly business, as it gets stronger and bigger, then the fixed cost will keep reducing, because before, if with the same cost I'm producing 100, if I start producing 200, the fixed cost reduces. If I produce 500, so at some point it will be maybe very minimal, your cost will be, which means more profit, less cost, more profit. So really we have to try as much as possible to spread our marketing, to build a successful product. So also a good startup, also they gave an example with startups. Startups usually, for them to be able to scale through, because it is very important you start small. Then you also have clarity of where you want to be in the future, not just to serve a little market, but eventually where are you going to expand? Is it adjacent? Is it vertical? Is it horizontal? How you are going to do it? So that is one thing. So economies of scale, have it in mind that you are going to take advantage of economies of scale eventually, so that you can plan your project well or plan your business well. So we have branding. Obviously, branding is the name you create. So what is branding? In competition branding is you have to create something that when they call, example, Apple. See Apple. Yesterday I went to Apple shop. Oh my God. It's just the grace of God that helped me not to really spend all my money there. My friends spend almost 2.5 on plan because it's so beautiful. Apple 17 Pro Max. It is slick, beautiful. The iPad, she wants iPad. Apple Pen, she wants all the product. It's so beautiful. That is their brand. Their iOS, they make sure that it is, yes, some of it can, can interact with other things, but they make sure you buy everything from Apple for it to be able to use in other. So that is branding. Make it strong, make it attractive, and make sure you listen to your customer so that you keep improving it in the way the customer expect and want, so that they will continue to come back. There was so much queue. That is how we waited almost 3 hours there waiting for Apple, and then we spent money. So you can imagine they have the brand. So we every startup, every business will ensure that they build a enduring brand. So building monopoly, apart from building monopoly, you have to also how do you build it? You build it, then you also have to stay in monopoly. So you don't just build it. For you to stay there, you have to make it endure. So as we say, you have to start small. When you start small, you are comfortable, the business, you're expert on that same product you're doing or market. You have your customers are happy, you're a master in that niche. Then you start expanding. You understand? Yes, so you can dominate your own monopoly and cash into the future for that your monopoly. For example, the author of the book also is a founder of PayPal. They said their first product was a product on Palm Pilots. And that product failed. Why? Because their customers were not concentrated in one place and they had little in common. You understand? So that particular service did not work. But what did they do? They went basis the lesson they learned. They went and started eBay auction. And what did the eBay auction? That is when they were after auction, you'll be able to get your money or you pay money immediately after the auction, not after 7 or 10 days. So they cash in. That is how they become power sellers. They now and they also extend into other markets. So a perfect target market for a startup, you first of all, it's a small group of particular people concentrated together, and they will serve few or no competitors will be there. So any big market is a bad choice. As a startup, don't go and start because a big market already is a red ocean. There are competitors there. They are just waiting for you, a sharks to just swallow you. So that is it. So don't go there, but start in a fewer place. Then first of all, after you are master in that niche market, then you start scaling up. Once you create, you dominate the niche market, then you start gradually expanding. You can expand. Just for example, Amazon. Amazon, they started from books, isn't it? Well, after they become expert in books, whereby wherever you are able within short period of time in all the books, so you'll be able to get your books. So that is how customers were so happy, they were excited. That is how from the books he started CDs, which is very similar. It's a similar market. He went into videos, software, and then gradually he become a big market. See where Amazon is. That is excellent approach. So at least we can learn from how to scale up by looking at Amazon's growth. So they said, don't disrupt. All I'm hearing, I remember when I was in Harvard doing my program is disruptors. Everything is about disruption. So let me just take you through what is disruption. They said Silicon Valley has become obsessed with obstruction, disruption. That's and it's true. So what is disruption is how a small farm or startup can use new technology, a small farm or a startup to introduce low-end product or low prices and improve the product over time, and eventually they will overtake the premium the premium product offered by the incumbent business company that with all that technology. That is what is disruptive. So startups, they like to call themselves confidently disrupt us. So this book, the author is telling us we should not go and deceive ourselves, calling ourselves disruptors. We should not describe ourselves with a threat, with like something negativity. You understand? To describe a threat to incumbent companies. So will be obsessed with disrupting to send somebody out. No. What they think I think they said we should stop seeing ourselves that we are here to fight the dark forces. That's in the incumbent companies. We shouldn't be fixated in obstacles in our no. What we should do is to just be there to create something new. And creating something new also that the old industry or the company did not create. That is what we should be doing. If you look at it generally, what are disruptors? Disruptors are people who look for trouble and they'll find it. The what is destructive kids, they said, is the kid that are sent to principal. So please, we should avoid calling ourselves disruptor, but rather we are there not as disruptor, but those that will create a new solution that will serve different niche of business and all that will help. That is what we should be. Like PayPal could have been a disruptive to Visa. But what their business did was they gave Visa more business than the business they took away from them when they came. So, which means that the impact is net positive. So, please, I think we should start looking at our companies ourselves like that. So, the last will be the first. I mentioned earlier, they told us that the first ones have more advantage. Yes, as the first one, yes, you have a couple of advantages. Yes, there is advantage, there is first mover advantage. However, for you to continue to cash it, to reap that advantage, then there are some key things you have to do. You also have to be the last. You have to also be the last mover advantage. So if you are the first enter into the market, yes, you can capture the significant market share, while the competitor that will come will have to start struggling. So it's a good method, a good tactic into your goal, or goal of becoming a monopoly. You understand? But what really matters is ability for you to generate cash flow into the future. You understand? So being the first mover doesn't do you any good. So if someone else will come along and unseat you, then it doesn't really make sense. So it is better, much better to be the last mover. That is, you have to be endure. You have to be there to last forever. There, as in to last, to keep lasting. So also, so development of specific market, you have to really put your strategy whereby you develop specific market and enjoy years of decades of monopoly and profit and cash flow. So that is what all in all this chapter is talking about. So I also want to let me take us through a little bit of key takeaway or how to apply this. Then that would be my last. That would be my last. So first of all, we have to focus on endurance. So don't just look at the short term now. Long term cash flow beats any quick win. You have to build something that will be for 10 years, have clarity for 10 years ahead, and clarity on how you also scale. You have to seek monopoly. Don't go and compete. Please be careful. Don't be there am I a disruptor. Avoid competition because sometimes it takes you away from your focus. It takes you away from your focus. And make sure you create 10 times better solution. Start small. Don't go and spend a lot of money. Start small, focus, become a master, then you now dominate the focus niche, then you go and find an undeserved market, undeserved people, people underserved market and passionate market, and then you put your products out there. You have to scale smart. Don't go and scale into something that you cannot generate your future cash flow with. Please grow outward from strength. You also start from the point of your strength. Don't start from the point of your weakness. Oh yes, you can be durable. Add adjacent products, services gradually. Don't chase distortion. I've said this one. Compete, let's innovate more, and make sure you do something new and not reactionary. Thank you very much. I hope I'm able to just make you to at least give you a summary of the chapter. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lady Ummi. That was a brilliant summary of chapter 5. And you hit on all the point that was rightly mentioned. I was smiling. If you could see my camera, I was smiling at some point when you talked about disruptor, because even this week I'd call myself a disruptor. I'm an innovative champion, my darling. And I'm a disruptor. Yeah. So when you put that clause, it just rings a bell, and yeah, took me back memory lane. And yeah, that was why I was smiling. I'd like to give you your flowers for a beautiful presentation. Well done. And thank you for finding the time, even though you're in Boston, to be able to do this presentation and to give such a detailed summary. I know you're not presenting with your slides, it's very tight for you, but anybody listening to you would definitely understand, back to back what you were saying, and you covered every note, inclusive of the case study. So thank you very much for that. Receive your flowers, receive your flowers. Let me look for I can see flowers from Dr. Mariah already. I like to open the room and the boardroom for conversation. Please, insights, inputs, comment, feedback to Ummi. That was a brilliant, brilliant presentation. And let me just quickly use the opportunity before we have other speakers in the house. The confidence with which you presented this chapter was, oozing through yeah, it was. I don't know if any other person saw it. HOD, did you see that? And Umi was so much relaxed, not like your other presentation, but you were very much relaxed. And even at some point you dropped your voice into the late night DJ, cruise. And yeah, it's quite interesting to see all those little changes when they take place. Very nicely done once more. Thank you very much for the presentation. But you really have, you know, you're topping this one, right? You really topped the chart with this presentation. Any other comment?
Yes, Princess, I must agree with you. Thank you so much, Lady Umi, for the presentation. Even without the slides, you just kept on talking like it's part of what you do every day. I would
Impressive.
say, yes, it was done with a lot of confidence. You knew what you were talking about. It was clear. You understood it, and all you came to do was to just download, and you did it well. So thank you so much for that presentation. It was beautiful and well done to you.
David said that's the Boston energy. I love how Umi is looking so happy. Yes, that's another aspect. And I think happiness is a very key ingredient. I don't know about you men, but for us women, once we are happy inside out, there's this radiance that comes with it. There's this enlightenment that comes with it. There's this glow that comes with it. So yeah, everybody has to find happiness. And that's my prayer for each and every one of us. Find true happiness. The happiness that is not, embedded on factors, variables, circumstances, but you're truly happy. So yeah, that's from David, Umi, that you're radiating and you're glowing in happiness. Congratulations for attaining that, height. Any other comment? And Samira said you're exhuming. Is that the right word? Radiance. Woo! Exuding radiance. Right. So, Samira, you want to say a word? Welcome to the boardroom. It's been a while. Samira, I know Dr. Mariah will not be able to speak because she is on duty. We have Absa on the call. Lady, are you going to be able to say a word? Any feedback? David, over to you. Oh, you're okay. Network is
Good evening.
unstable. Yes, good evening, David.
Okay. I mean, well done to Umi. Great presentation right away there. You did well. And you also it shows also from your experts knowledge as well how you were able to present with that too as well. Well done, I mean, a good job. I was also able to catch in between because I was not fully, but I was able to catch in between and how expand the idea of being a disruptor and not being a disruptor. Right, we should focus on what really is about ourselves and how we want to stand out. And I think that also gives context to the next chapter too as well. So well done, Ummi, and you did a good job actually. Well done.
Thank you very much, David. So our time is fast spent, but I'm just going to flip through chapter 6. You're not a lottery ticket. Interestingly, chapter 6, we had I think there was a particular book we were reading, maybe the Psychology of Money, and I actually did that presentation some last year, I think. So you are not a lottery ticket, which is chapter 6, emphasizes the importance of taking control over your future rather than relying on luck or chance. And I know we all do believe in the God factor, right? Which is very important even in business, because a lot of us don't play to it, do not believe in it, and as such we work really hard and smart and yet gain so little. So let's pack that particular conversation that the God factor does play a big role in how you come into success is very critical. However, as professionals, we like to always argue that successful entrepreneurs and innovators create their own luck, right? You expect to create your luck. You cannot just say it will happen to you when it happens to you. You should put in deliberate effort, be intentional, be strategically positioned in terms of how you make decision. Be cautious, take into cognizance all the little nuances that matters as it respects to your business, and focus on building and controlling your own destiny by developing distinctive approach or product. You don't just allow things to happen, and you just have to work your way and work really hard to ensure that this happen. And that is what being an innovator is. Because however, how would an innovator create? How would an innovator create anything if they don't believe in it and if they don't think about it, if they don't plan, if they don't execute? How would you shape the future? So it has to be through purposeful action that you can do this distinctive innovation. The book went further to talk about a lot that you can control your future. You should be able to control your future. And he gave examples of definite, indefinite, optimist and pessimist, and relative examples as around US within a particular time period, which was 1950s to 1960s. And that was a definite optimistic period. The indefinite optimistic period, we looked at US from 1982 to the present. And then when we look at the definite pessimistic, we look at China's present. And of course, the indefinite pessimistic, we look at Europe present. So there's quite a lot of details that is there that we can really unpack in terms of the case study. So I want to employ everyone to just quickly, maybe in the course of the evening, just flip through when you're relaxing to be able to unpack the narrative that is shared by Peter Thiel. On that note, I'd like to also open the boardroom for discussion, your thought process for those who read chapter 6. Just give us your insight and share with us a thing or two and your key takeaway. The boardroom is open. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, Ummi had sent, okay, the boardroom is too quiet too. Don't tell me that I confused you. I hope you all heard me. Okay, I wasn't muted, right? Good. So your contribution for chapter 6.
Okay, thank you so much, Princess, for taking us through chapter 6, even though I know you're not the one presenting, but thank you for bringing out the main points in chapter 6. For me, what captured me, I think from the beginning you said you can create your own future, even though I have not read chapter 6. I think you started with that. And the truth is that a lot of us, when we start businesses, most of the time, maybe we start on a small scale. And because we have not really learned some of these concepts and some of these acquired some of these skills, which are needed to build a lasting business. We always feel that is why a lot of us remain small. We always feel, growth, the business growth, the expansion, building a lasting business can be quite difficult, But then chapter 6 actually says, okay, you're not a lottery ticket. And he says that we can create our future intentionally, which is what you started with, and that caught my attention. So I think it's important that we believe that the future can be shaped, the kind of future we want. And then for me, the key lesson would be to stop treating business as a gamble. If you're into business, do the business and do it well. Be intentional about creating the kind of future you want for the business. And this book has talked about systems, and structure and a clear vision. And it says that is how we scale. And incidentally, Princess, I sent you the presentation.
Nelab, you sent me a presentation? Hello, Nelab. Can you hear me? We lost you there.
Sorry, my network, I don't know what happened. It just went off for a bit.
Mm.
Yeah. So
We
I
lost
shared
you
my
there.
presentation. Yes,
Yes.
I'm back. Yes. So the truth is, what chapter 6 is trying to say is, we can actually know the future of our business from what we have now. The structure that we have now, the systems that we have now, can tell if we're going to have a long-lasting business or not. So it's important that we put these structures in place today, which, as I was mentioning earlier, I had to borrow this takeaway from this book for a presentation I had for women entrepreneurs today. So thank you. I think we should always have that at the back of our minds, that the future can be known. We can build that future. But we should start with what we have now and do it well. So thank you, Princess.
Thank you for that submission, Nelab. Very well said. I can see Umi's hand. Your hand is up for
Yeah.
a submission. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me say also a few things on the chapter 6. So actually chapter 6 is trying to tell entrepreneurs that we should refrain from making like the what Nana said, a business as a gamble. We should stop glorifying risk taking without clarity direction for a startup. That culture we have to stop it, but rather we have to plan to win. And it says success comes from vision and execution, not from this gambling. So we really have a definitive idea of how we want the future to look like. Then you have to also put in the work and the actions, and then it will be success. And we also need to believe in control and understand we are not lottery ticket at all. So our actions, our choices and strategy really matters for the success of our business, but not gambling. So intentional, we have to be intentional in our business. So key takeaway for business owners or for startups, we have to reject luck that as a strategy. It's not luck. Being lucky is not a strategy. We should be a definitive optimistic. Plan intentionally, deliberately, you have to plan. And also you have to take ownership of the future. So, but one thing that is a bit confusing is the definition of this definitive and indefinite thinking. Let me just read maybe a summary of that. Definitive optimistic is when we believe in the future, that the future will be better, and we will plan towards that for us to make it happen. So we have founders like, they say, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. They are definitive optimistic because they keep planning, knowing that the future is going to be better. We can see from Tesla, we can see what these guys are doing, the Elon is doing. Then we have indefinite optimists, which is you have to believe the future will be better, but there is no concrete plan for that. So a lot of corporate leaders or investors are in this basket. Then we have a definitive pessimist, think that the future will be worse and plans to prevent the worst happening. So government, this is the attitude of government when they're building defenses. That is what government do. Then we have indefinite pessimist. You have to think that the future will be worse, and then you feel powerless, that it is going to be, or you don't know what to do. This is what they say people that are fatalists do this. So basically, this chapter 6 is telling us we have to refrain from this culture. Refrain from it. We are not a lottery. We should remove lottery mindset. We should create the future that we want to see and keep pushing, put in the work with deliberate choices and actions. And then also we should have definitive optimism. That is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ummi, for that summation. So I was also just thinking very broadly. If you remember when we read one of the books that we read that gave us insight to Henry Ford, you would consider Henry Ford to be a definite optimistic individual, right? Because he believed in progress, innovation, and possibility. And he went into manufacturing of the cars from horses, for transportation. Ford optimistic outlook contributed to his confidence in revolutionizing automobile industry. So he is a definite optimistic. So I think the major key takeaway today is to plug ourselves into that quadrant. Where are you? Are you a definite optimistic? Are you an indefinite, optimistic? Or are you definite pessimistic or indefinite pessimistic? Think about it. Let's think about it. Let's see where do you fall into and what do you believe? Because your belief system can really change the way you project yourself, especially in this innovative landscape. Very critical. Thank you very much, Ummi, for broadening the scope of discussion for chapter 6. Any other contribution? Any contribution? Last thought? Comment? Addition? Submission? No? Okay, so on that note, thank you very much. I love coming to the boardroom. I really love coming to I've learned something, every evening. And I think it's a culture that we've built, right? So once it's just part of you, you keep doing it and it becomes so organic. I love spending time with each and every one of you in the boardroom. It's been another pleasure of mine to be able to facilitate this week's boardroom section. Hopefully, next week we'll hand it over to the book review team for facilitation. But I want to say a very good evening to everyone in the boardroom. Because I'm seated here in Abuja. So it's evening my time. I know for some of you it's very late. So do have a wonderful evening and a good night rest for today. See you all tomorrow, bright and early. David, please, can we know who is facilitating tomorrow? David,
That's me and let me check.
please send the flyer early because I was confused about the flyer today since I know Bolu was not going to be presenting. Send the flyer so that we can put it on the group. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. And also the link so that people can invite their friends. Thank you very much, Ummi, for presenting. We really appreciate it. And when you travel, do travel safe. And God bless you.